Shabbat Shalom. So nice to see so many people on Saturday morning and our Torah chanting club. And thank you everyone who came to support the chanters. We'll turn to page 186. 186 and join me with Mode Ani. Right? We say this prayer every time when we awaken. We'll say Mode Ani. Thank God that we are awake, right? It's a lot to be thankful. Modehani lefanecha, melechai v'kayam, shehezarta b'nishmati behemba, behemba, rabba emunatecha, rabba emunatecha. Once again. Modehani lefanecha, melechai v'kayam, shezarta b'nishmati behemba, behemba, rabba emunatecha, rabba emunatecha, rabba emunatecha. Let's turn to page 195. 195. So let's do a lot of prayers together, right? And singing together and chanting in Hebrew. We'll do it all collectively, reading English collectively. On page 195, we'll read the top. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. Baruch Ata Adonai, Rofech Bachsar, Umakliya La'asod. On 196, join me with Elohai Neshama. And here we thank God for giving us a soul. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata li levorati. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata li levorati. Ata berata, akayitzarta, ata nefachta bi, v'ata meshamera, meshamera b'kirbi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata li levorati. Let's read on page 207. 207 in the middle. These beautiful words by Maimonides. There are 8 degrees in the giving of tzedakah, each one higher than one another. Grudgingly, reluctantly, This reading reflects our Torah portion. Like hell, it's all about giving, giving from your heart. Page 218, 218, let's join in singing of Psalm 150. And we praise God with Psalm 150. So it's okay to loosen up. I know the Torah chanters are sitting on spilkas, right? Kind of getting excited, but it's all part of joy and part of the experience of Shabbat. So it's okay to clap your hands, snap your fingers, loosen up. You're gonna do a great job. Page 224. 224. Yitkadal v'yitkadash meraba Ma'amadi b'rachirotei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechonu v'yomechon u'chayedecho bet Israel ba'gala u'bizman kariv v'himeru Yesh meraba meborach ve'olam olam me'amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrama v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kodesha Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nehemata Amiran be'alma v'imeru Right for Baruch. The next page. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Together on page 229. In the beginning, even then, a new light was sown for the righteous. A progress new light first for order, then for hope. Ata Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. We go from praising the light, right? We thank God for praising light, and this is all related to the story of creation. Now we're moving into saying God is great, Ahava Rabbah, a great love. And together on 231, love your neighbor as yourself, said, and likewise so. Baruch Ata Adonai, Aboher Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Olam Vaed. Please be seated. And join me with V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאור ידיכם, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. הוצאתי אתכם אדוני אלוהיכם. Let's turn to page 240. To page 240. This is the Michamocha prayer. Michamocha is a prayer about right? Michamocha is getting close. Where does it come from? Redemption, right? Exodus, right? When did we sing Michamocha in the Torah? Right, and what was the Red Sea? A miracle. A miracle. So Michamocha is our song about miracles. Right? We thank God for miracles that He performed. And reminds us that we, as we go through life, we should pay attention to miracles around us. Because very often we don't see them, including me. We don't see the miracles, a simple miracle, rainfall, snow, right? Beautiful leaves. Yes, it's a miracle. So encourage you to pay attention to little things and to miracles around us. ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדנו מך יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. We rise to the Pilar. On page 242. Adonai Sefat Tiftach Ufia Gidehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, let my mouth declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagedol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim v'Ganei Ha'akol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imachot, ומביא גאולה לפני בניכם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד בגשם, מהגר חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נובלים ורומם עולים, ומתיר אסורים, חייהם אמונתו, לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומדומך מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוא הארץ. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד דור לך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד דור לך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם לעולם ועד, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד דור לך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד דור לך. So let's join in singing of Yismechu, page 250. Yismechu, a prayer that expresses joy in Shabbat, as we commanded to be joyful on Shabbat. So let's be joyful. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomerei, 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 Shabbat v'kore, onech Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomerei, 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 Shabbat v'kore, onech Shabbat. Mekadeshei, mekadeshei, Shabbat. Kulam yisbehu v'yitangu b'tovecha Shabbat, v'yismechu b'malchutecha, shomerei, 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 Shabbat v'kore, onech Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha, shomerei, 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 Shabbat v'kore, onech Shabbat. V'hashvi'i רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, חמדן ימים אותו קראת שבת, וישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא, עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא, עונג שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, ויס במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא, עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא, עונג שבת. Yeah, feel the joy. Feel the joy. Page 253 to 53, join me as we give thanks. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites in faith and hope. Baruch Ata Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 255, on top, prayer for Zion. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds, in our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. Lord God, who alone we serve in reverence. Baruch Ata Adonai, Shodcha, Levatcha, Le'ira, La'avod. A prayer of thanksgiving, Modim, page 256. Join together in English. We acknowledge with thanks your Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You're the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation. We experience every day and for wondrous deeds and favors in every. O God, our Redeemer, on the bottom, O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all live, affirm you, and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Ulecha Me'eh Hodot. And now a prayer for peace. Shalom. Sim shalom. A prayer so much needed. As we move through the service, it's interesting how we go from one theme to another theme. And now it's a prayer for peace, shalom, peace of shalom. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, barcheinu yafreinu kulanu kechad, be'or panecha, ki be'or panecha natat alanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, hein v'hesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Torah chaim ve'achavat chesed, ve'achavat chesed, u'tzedaka uvracha ve'rachamim, ve'chaim ve'shalom. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, hein v'chesed ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, v'tov elecha lebarech et amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה, ישלומך. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ein v'hesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. We'll work later on our Sim shalom. They were pretty good. Pretty good. Please take a few moments for silent prayer and reflection. Suri We're going to move to our service. Okay. Clear the path. We'll need a few volunteers to carry the Torah to Hakafah and help me to carry the Torah for reading. You volunteers? Yeah, Noah? Somebody's volunteering Noah. Well, how about you and your dad come together? Come up. No? Oh, wait. Page 362. It's page 362. Please rise. Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, vein kemaasecha, malchutecha malchut olamim, umemshatecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch, levavet, Adonai yosle moiten, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom, ha'arahamim, hetiva v'irtzonecha et Zion, tivne chomod Yerushalayim, ki v'chol avad batachnu, melech erom v'nitzach Adon olamim, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim, baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad, echad Eloheinu, gadol Adonenu, lo shemo, nafnu Adonai iti, u'zeramema shmo yavdav. Ya'ilalai, 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 yivayse v'ochera, ya'ilalai, 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 and please be seated. Oh, thank you. You can stay here because he's gonna chant. This is the moment we all have been waiting for. Our Torah chanting club, brave adults who are chanting from Torah, very proud of them. And they should be always proud of themselves. So I invite all the Torah chanters to line up as we'll chant from Parsha Vayakhel. Trying to find the page.
It's the page.
No. The page number?
I opened it for you. No, in the
Yeah, I have it.
612.
Yes, thank you. Page 612. If you would like to follow along, page 612. 612 in the commentary. So let's say the bracha, the blessing before Torah, we'll say collectively. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'nu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. And let's hold the fame. Next person will hold the fame.
Vayakhel Moshe et kol adat b'nei Yisrael vayomer aleichem ela hadvarim asher tziva Adonai lasot otam.
So Susan, why don't you hold it at Chaim?
Okay.
Sheshet Yamim Te'aseh Melacha Vayom Hashvi Yeh Lachem Kodesh Shabbat Shabbaton Le'Adonai Kol Haoseh Vo Melacha Yuma.
Deborah, can you hold this?
Lo tiva'aru eish b'chol moshvotechem bayom ha-Shabbat.
Okay, excellent. Not sure. Okay, be careful.
Yeah, I got it. You got it? Okay. Vayomer Moshe el kol adat b'nei Yisrael lemor zeh hadavar asher tziva Adonai lemor. Kachu me'itchem truma l'Adonai kol nidiv libo yivi'eha et trumat Adonai zachav v'chesef v'choshet.
V'techel et למען ותולעת שני ושש ועזים.
V'arot elim ma'adamim, v'arot takashim, v'atzei shatim. I'll get it.
בשמן למאור ובשמיים לשמן המשחה ולקטורת הסמים.
Yavnei Shoham, Yavnei Miluim, Laefod, Vilachoshem.
Great finale. And let's say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher ba'lanu torat emet, v'yeh olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. Amen. So I can exhale. Okay? Beautiful job. So let's stay here to say Mishaber, to say prayer for healing. It is traditionally that prayer for healing, Mishaber, is said in the presence of the Torah. And I think it makes sense because Torah, we look at the Torah as our way of life. So we're saying a prayer for healing in the presence of the Torah. So we'll all come close, and anybody in the congregation who would like to come up on the bima and stand maybe in a circle and touch the Torah. I'll stay right here. The Torah, and we'll go around. We say the names of people who are in need of healing. Anybody who wants to come up, please come up. The Torah belongs to people. It doesn't belong to clergy. So please come up. On page 371. 371. Before we join in Mishaber, you can just go around and say the name, even if we say at the same time, your name is heard. Go ahead, say the name of the person who's in need of healing.
Name Gordon. Gabriel Berger.
Jonathan Rosenzweig.
Let's join together in singing Mishaber. The renewal to your seats. Be careful on the steps. I will need two people to help me dress the Torah and return to the ark. You want to stay? Okay, thank you. No, we don't have to. Turn to page 370, and we rise as we return Torah to the ark. Page 374. So it's still 11:20. So the Torah portion is Vayakhel. Vayakhel, usually it's combined Vayakhel Pekudei when it's not a leap year, but because it's a leap year, it's a Jewish leap year, we separate. So today is Vayakhel, and next week is Pekudei. Anybody knows how we call leap year in Hebrew? Good guess. It's a tough one because it's called Shana, you know, the year. Me'uberet. Me'uberet means pregnant. It's hard to guess. So, but I always like wondering, why does it call, you know, pregnant year? Shana Me'uberet. So, Me'uberet. A leap year. So it's a leap year in our calendar, regular calendar, and leap year in Hebrew calendar. Interesting, it coincides. So whoever has the summary, if you could read it out loud with a nice loud voice, maybe even microphone? No? You have a loud voice? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the summary.
Is one of 7 designated Torah portions that, depending upon the number of Sabbaths in the year, is either read as 2 separate portions or combined to assure the reading of the entire Torah. While this volume will combine them, it will present an interpretation on each of the most important themes. Parshat Vayakhel repeats the commandment to observe the Sabbath, emphasizing that no work was to be done on that day. It continues with Moses asking the Israelites to donate gifts of gold, silver, copper, precious stones, fine linen, wood, oil, or spices to be used to build the Mishkan, or sanctuary. Moses appoints Bezalel and Oholiab, skilled craftsmen, to oversee the construction of the sanctuary. And they report to Moses that the people are giving more gifts than are needed. So Moses tells the people to stop bringing their donations. Under the direction of Bezalel and Oholiab, skilled craftsmen work on the cloths, planks, bars, curtains, strings, lampstands, altars, and physical garments of the sanctuary.
So I think we can stop here because Parshat Pekudei next week. Well, Laura figured out how to use the mic. Thank you. So, thank you. So, just pass this around. For me, it was fascinating how people give so much donations that Moses said it's enough. You give so much. Can you imagine at the temple they have capital campaign, and people give so much that the president says it's enough, you give too much. Alibi, right? Hopefully.
I actually had that happen.
Did it happen?
I have it right here. It happened the second
Well, use the mic.
We had 2 really big scholar in residence weekends. The first one was, what's his name? Can't think of the name. The guy who studies Islam. And the second one was relational Judaism. So
Ron Wilson.
Ron Molson, yeah. So I had arranged on the first one to solicit underwriters to help. I mean, they're expensive, to help it. And we had an intimate dinner the night before with him on Saturday night before the talk. When I went to do the second one, I had to cut it off because I couldn't call it an intimate dinner when it got to be more than 40 people. So it's happened.
It happens. Oh, good. Well, we hope it will happen to us when we do our capital campaign. But interesting, the Torah portion starts with the observing Shabbat, right? And then goes into the charity obligation, and giving tzedakah. So I don't know, what connection do you take from it? Like, first the Torah talks about Shabbat, I'm sure there is a connection there. Talks about observance of Shabbat, and then it talks about charity and giving tzedakah. Susan, use the microphone, please.
It associates revering God and following, honoring the Shabbat is a basic tenet of Judaism, and it's a basic commandment from God. It associates giving with closeness to God, and
Yeah,
that's my thought.
I like that. It's like you spiritually, like Shabbat, you're spiritually giving one day to God, right? Spiritually. And maybe tzedakah, it's more, it's not spiritual, it's material gift to God, is it? Anybody else has any? Shelley, use the mic, please.
It takes the place of bringing birds and ducks and whatever to be sacrificed. So it's really important. And in modern times, by giving tzedakah, depending on where you want the money to go, is another important act, that you're not only thinking of yourself and being egotistical, you're being aware of the needs of others in the world.
Yeah, that's good.
Also, it helps everybody to be able to celebrate Shabbat. Traditionally, in the old country, right, anybody who couldn't afford it, people would bring chicken or whatever so that they could celebrate. And even now, it's traditional to invite people, a stranger in the synagogue to your home for Shabbat lunch, because nobody should be alone. So it kind of helps people to celebrate that.
Yeah, it's a good connection. Also, as I'm thinking, last week, right, we read Kitisa. Remember Kitisa, right? Kitisa Torah portion is about building golden calf. How people ran, only men, ran to donate all the, chachkas, all the goodies, right, to build golden calf. Women did not. And the next Torah portion, Moses asked the nations for Mishkan Tefillah, or for Mishkan Tefillah, yeah. For Mishkan, which is kind of, it's opposites, right? Here they're donating to build their golden calf, and the next Torah portion, Jews are donating to build an ark for God, to worship God. Such extremes. Wait, microphone, please.
The golden calf was a throwback to what they had left behind, the many gods of Egypt. And so when you're building the Mishkan, you accept and we will do and we will learn. And that's why Moses was there.
No, that's good. I'm glad they had, all these chachkas left, right? And that they didn't donate everything to the golden calf. They had stuff left, right? So this Torah portion by Yaakov has, as we pointed out, 3 themes, right? First, it talks about Shabbat, then it talks about obligation of giving, tzedakah, and the third is accountability of public officials, right? So let's go back to the first one, and maybe somebody can read this text. The Sabbath is for celebration and rest, not work, right? And what does it mean? Anybody would like to read this Perek Aleph?
Perek Aleph? The commandment?
Yeah, please use the microphone.
The commandment to celebrate the Sabbath is mentioned several times in the Torah. We are told that after laboring for 6 days to create the heavens and earth, God rests on the 7th day and calls it Shabbat, day of rest. The 10 commandments include the directive, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy, along with the statement, 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. You shall not do any work. Once again, the commandment is repeated at the beginning of the Torah portion by Yaakov.
So here's some questions to consider right after that. If you want to just read the questions.
Yet, if the Sabbath is meant to be such a delight and pleasure and of such importance to the Jewish people, why does the Torah specifically forbid work? Furthermore, how does Jewish tradition define work? Might there not be certain activities that one person calls work and another calls pleasure?
Right, so these are the questions for us to consider, right? What does it mean work, right? And what does it mean pleasure?
Traditionally, work refers to the 39 malachas, the kinds of work that were involved in building the Mishkan, but even there, it requires some interpretation, like, don't build a fire. What does that mean about electricity? There was no electricity. So it's not all that clear necessarily.
So what does it mean to us right now, nowadays, work, right? What does it mean work? Don't do any work on Shabbat. How do we, progressive Jews, right, define that? And is it important to keep Shabbat, or in some sense? Susan.
I'm retired for a long time, so I don't have the distraction of work, but when I was working, I think work takes you away from big thoughts, that you have to focus on what's in front of you. If you're a factory worker, you have to focus on whatever you're making. If you're have a desk job, you have to look at what's on your desk and focus and not think of the bigger issues that, give lofty meaning to life. So I would say look at work as a distraction from the big questions of life, unless you happen to be a member of the clergy, or we all have spiritual moments when you work, like thank God it's over, or I just forgot about thank God it's Friday,
No, good. So please share, like, how do you define Shabbat for yourself, if you feel comfortable to say it out loud, or what does it mean to you?
I'm going to add, I was at a Joan Osborne concert a few days ago with some friends, and she sang Bob Dylan's "You've Got to Serve Somebody," and I feel like that's connected to this, whereas I am going off to work after this service, I admit, but the idea of serving somebody else, whether you're serving the electric company, paying the bills, or you're serving your landlord, making sure you can pay rent, or you're serving your boss who's telling you what to do, and she might have demands of you. You're serving other people, and that connects to what we were just talking about with the golden calf and the temple, as opposed to having a day where you're only in service to your culture, your religion, your belief system, your community, yourself, your God, all of that.
That's good. So big question is your work or it's pleasure, right?
My daughter makes art, and one of her pieces of art, and they all have captions, and one of her pieces of art says, "Shabbat invites me to rest," which is a lovely thought. On the other side of the equation, there's a saying from some culture, you would know, work is love made visible. And for me, there's a kind of work that is love made visible, that is effortful, but it's that expression. So I think that's an interesting distinction. I'm not sure where it fits in Shabbat, but that supports that kind of work on Shabbat, if you're making love visible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, goes back to like what's work, what's pleasure, right? Some people like to paint on Shabbat, this is pleasure for them. But for some people it could be work. So there is a like thin line. right? There are certain, even for Orthodox doctors, there is permission. They have to get permission from rabbis if they need to.
Yes, because life is first.
Right, exactly.
And,
Pikuach nefesh, right? Pikuach nefesh. Pikuach means to like
yes,
to heal. Pikuach nefesh, like not heal, to rescue the soul, right? Or saving of the soul is Judaism the top priority. Like even Orthodox Jews on Shabbat, if there is some emergency, like they have to call ambulance, you know, because saving of the life comes first.
A number of years ago, it was Yom Kippur, and I had an anorexic patient who desperately needed to be hospitalized. And I spent the entire Yom Kippur in my office looking for a bed for her. Rabbi Katz called me that night because he knows where I sit, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I told him what happened, and he said to me, "You were exactly where you should have been." Because it is that important.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
For me, Shabbat, my Shabbat ritual is going to Torah study. I don't make it every week, but 95% of the time. And that marks Shabbat for me. And it's joy for me. It's not work.
That's great, even though you have to use Zoom, right? You know, they're allowed to
Right.
use electricity and Zoom. I mean, on Shabbat, like
Right.
if you talk traditionally. But the end result is Torah study, and it's a pleasure for you. There is
So I like this piece, Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan talks about the artist that
Where is
works on.
it?
That's on the second page.
you jumped
Yeah,
ahead.
Second paragraph. Yeah, I jumped ahead. He says that an artist that's working on his piece has to step aside and look at the piece. And so Shabbat is like that time that we step aside.
Why don't you read it out loud,
Oh,
this paragraph?
The whole okay, Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan, however, suggests that the Shabbat is more than a time for Torah study. It's a pause in our brushwork, quote unquote, of life, and compares its importance to the critical rest moments of an artist, quote unquote. An artist, he observes, quote unquote, cannot be continually wielding his brush. He must stop at times in his painting to refresh his vision of the object, the meaning of which he expresses to express on his canvas. For Kaplan, the Shabbat is a time of pausing, for taking a fresh look at what we are trying to do with our lives. It is a weekly opportunity to scrutinize our goals, hopes, successes, and failures. Getting away from work allows us a chance to assess its worth, the value of what we are doing with our energies and talents. After celebrating the Sabbath, we are ready, Kaplan says, to take ourselves to our painting with clarified vision of renewed energy. And this is from The Meaning of God in Modern Jewish Religion, Reconstructionist,
Right,
Press,
so-
1962. And
Thank you.
I have no idea, but Saturday morning is like my sacred time. Usually it's just a time that I just love. I don't know why. Maybe it's just from my upbringing, but like it would be like going to the market and just enjoying like the visual experience or being around people. But I often tell people, like, I don't make plans on Saturday morning because it's a time for me. It's just like something I innately developed for myself, so I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Does everybody know who's Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan? That he was the father of the Reconstructionist movement. So just jumping back, here there is a whole list of the prohibitions that Liz mentioned, 39 prohibitions on Shabbat, right? We don't have to list them, but so you're aware there are 39 prohibitions of Shabbat that you're not supposed to do, right? I like that by the Montefiore saying, could somebody read it out loud? The Sabbath prevents us. Anybody, you see that? A little paragraph here.
The Sabbath prevents us from reducing our lives to the level of a machine. The gathered experience of humanity that the break in the routine of work one day in 7 will heighten the value of the very work itself is not lightly to be put aside. The Sabbath is one of the glories of our humanity.
So, what does it tell us? What's the message?
If we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and working, then we don't elevate the work that we're doing. We have to step back from it and be able to pause and rest.
Recharge, right? Esther.
An interesting concept and word in Judaism is lahavdil, to divide, and that's what Havdalah comes from. It's dividing the everyday from the Shabbat. And I'm thinking right now that if there is no division, you don't recognize this is work and this is Shabbat, this is profane, this is holy. So we also call it boundaries, you know? I mean, there's lots of words for that, but without it, you know, in the beginning it was tohu vavohu, which is void, you know, chaos.
Yeah, well, mishmash.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, yeah, good point. And it says make Shabbat holy, right? That's another discussion, what holy, right? For every person it's different. Like going to the market and just looking around, this is like holy for you, like painting something, doing yoga, you know, for some people that's holy. Walking in the woods, which you're allowed to do, is holy, right? So moving along, maybe just one more text by Erich Fromm. Anybody knows who's Erich Fromm? He was a philosopher, a psychologist, yeah, psychologist, German, I think, psychologist. It says B. Anybody would like to read this B? It's on the connection of the Sabbath with the theme. You see that? Oh, no. Anybody would like to read?
I can do that.
Okay.
This connection of the Sabbath with the theme of freedom is also captured in the comments of modern psychologist and biblical commentator Erich Fromm. Fromm claims that it is no exaggeration to say that the spiritual and moral survival of the Jews during 2,000 years of persecution and humiliation would hardly have been possible without the one day in the week when even the poorest and the most wretched Jew was transformed into a man of dignity and pride.
So nice. And he continues in the next page. If you could just...
The power of the Sabbath, Fromm argues, is the expression of the central idea of Judaism, the idea of freedom, the idea of complete harmony between humanity and nature. By not working, that is to say, by not participating in the process of natural and social change, man is free from the chains of time, although only for one day a week. For Fromm, the Sabbath celebrates the liberation of human beings from the chains of time. It frees us from the obligations of meeting a schedule, of producing by certain hour in the day, of dealing with all the stress and pressures that derive from imposed and necessary timetables, agendas, and calendars. The Sabbath liberates us from slavery to the clock.
Wow, I like that. So, any comments on that?
I'm just going to make the one comment from the HR world that I'm in.
Yes,
there is a reason why there are labor laws that people cannot work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And when you read this going, wonder where these ideas came from.
Yes, I really like that Shabbat is day of freedom. It's like no matter what profession you have, right? I mean, yeah. that's a day of freedom for you, like whether you're doctor or, I guess that's what he says, right? From no matter what profession, you feel dignity and pride on Shabbat because you're relieved. So I never thought about that. Any other comments from the younger? No comments. Well, okay, so let's summarize, right? What do we learn from it? What do we learn from today's Torah portion from Vayekhel? That right, that's what the Torah says. You must observe the Sabbath, but observe the Sabbath, right? Everybody defines in their own way. So I guess the lesson today that no matter how everyone observes Shabbat, you should make it different from all other days. And no matter what it is, it should recharge your batteries, right? Recharge your soul and renew you so you're ready for the next week. Well, amen. Amen to that. Hopefully you will recharge yourself today. After that, continue to recharging yourself. Well, thank you for participating in the discussion, and of course to the Torah chanters. So we move to the conclusion of the third page 685. The right falling. The right falling. Alleluia, Shabbat, Turn to page 598. 598. You're observing your side? Right tonight, this morning, this Shabbat. I invite you to say it out loud, the name or mention in your heart. Pranali Bracha, may the memory be for blessing. We recite Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadal shmei rabah, ve'omad v'brak yiruteh v'yamrit malchoteh, v'chayechon v'yomachon v'chayeh b'chol beit Yisrael, v'achala zman kariv v'yimru amen. V'hei shmei rabah v'borak v'olam omel maya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה שמי לקודשה אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושפיכתה ונחמתה אמין שמיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. And the one who creates harmony on high, and peace to us, to Israel. Stay together. And please be seated. Who would like to lead the kiddush, a short kiddush on Hamotzi? Maybe Alisa, you wanna take kiddush on Hamotzi? No? How about you come with your grandma? No? Or how about your grandparents? Would you like to come up and Hamotzi and kiddush? Yes? Yes? It's a short one. Careful. Say just what I think I got. That's it. Amen. That was easy, right? First you say that, huh? Okay. Just for you two. You take a piece, you eat. Thank you. Welcome to our community.
Thank you.
Yes, please. It wasn't snippet. Shmud Shabbat is this Friday. So thank you again for your participation, everyone, and thanks for beautiful lunch that Liz Ornstein made it possible. Thank you, Liz, for your generosity. Very appropriate for the Torah portion of this week. Vayakhel. We'll sing Am Yisrael High. Everybody knows the words, right? The song Am Yisrael High. No, it's fine. Am Yisrael High, Israel, people of Israel will live forever. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael High. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael High. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael High. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael High. Od Avinu High, Od Avinu High, Od Avinu High, Od Avinu High, Od Avinu Shabbat Shalom. Well, thank you. So the lunch is in youth lounge. Thank you. It's okay, don't bring it. Okay?